What do a baby chick, a bat, and a parrot and crocodile duo all have in common? I don't know, but I think I just got sent back in time to the best period of gaming. Toree 3D Platformer Collection is a collection of 4 games. Toree 3D, Toree 2, MacBat 64, and reginaandmac. Each of these games are currently available through various means, but starting on January 29, 2025, they can be bought together in this digital pack on the Nintendo Switch. And I want to thank the people behind Toree 3D Platformer Collection for sending us an early key to this game for the purposes of this review. Now, I have heard of the Toree games and the others from the same studio with this same aesthetic. They always caught my attention with those old-style graphics and the platforming mechanics that I love to see, where the games look like something that I would have played on the Nintendo 64 or the early PlayStation with its aesthetic, with the low polygon, sharp edges of that 3D era of games. But this was actually my first time playing the games, and this collection was a perfect way to start. So for the ease of this review, let's break down these 4 games that are part of this collection. First off, there's Toree 3D. In this platformer game, you take control of Toree, a baby chick who just wants some ice cream. And in this game, you go through a series of linear platforming levels to get to that ice cream, with the emphasis being on speed to get through these levels, collecting stars along the way and trying to get the best time possible to get to the finish line, with the end of each stage giving you a ranking based on how well you did, and with levels varying between city landscapes where you're jumping across the top of buildings to ice levels where you slide on the ice to a downward path. And then there's some pretty creepy stages that I'm sure add a deep sense of lore to the people who want to dive further into that. But for me, this is just a simple and fun platforming game. Each level feels unique, the levels feel fast, and the platforming just feels smooth. Add in the timer and rankings, and this game is just super satisfying and fun. Which brings us to the next game, Toree 2, which is a sequel to Toree 3D. This game is more or less the same, but with some new levels, putting even more focus on the fast platforming that makes the first game so much fun. And honestly, it's probably a perfect example of how to make a simple sequel. It's just more of what made the first game so much fun. Plain and simple. There are also some bonus stages in this one, where there are more open world levels that you can run around collecting items, which is a nice addition, but to me, they just didn't have the same appeal as the fast-paced levels, trying to complete them while collecting all the stars, and trying to get through them as quickly as possible for a better score. This is probably the game I had the most fun with in this collection. I spent a lot of time on this one going back and trying to perfect the timing on some of these levels, and I plan to go back and play some more of it in the future. Then we go over to MacBat 64. Where you play as MacBat, who's on a quest to find the keys to the water factory and get clean water production back up and running. This one's a bit different, where the game has a level for you to explore and collect all the items in it, at the end finding a key on each stage. The levels are small and it's pretty quick to get through, but I love the references and dialogue that are hidden throughout, with each level having its own theme that seems to be an homage to the different games or franchises from that era. There seems to be a heavy inspiration from the rare platformers from the Nintendo 64 especially, with the design choices for this game, and the way everything is laid out as well. Even though this is a fully original game, it brings back the memories of playing those classic platforming games perfectly, and I had a ton of fun playing this one as well. There isn't too much replayability with this one though. Once you finish it, there's not really much to do with it beyond a couple bonus stages that do have some added difficulty to them, but the stages really don't have replayability of going back and trying to finish them again. Once you've completed them, that's kind of it. And then finally, there's reginaandmac, where a parrot named Regina finds herself stuck in a mysterious lab with a voiceless crocodile she names Mac, where they're told by a computer they need to collect data on floppies in order to get out. This game is an explorative platformer and is by far the largest game in the whole collection. With a very simple look, it takes more of a focus on the precise platforming and collecting items across a larger level, with the level designs mostly being giant blocks and moving platforms, and the characters themselves being very simple models as well. Which, to be honest, out of all the games, this one's probably the weakest to me. While it is a bigger game, it feels more like a demo with its designs and motion, and it felt less like a full game and more like a tech demo for a game for the PlayStation 1 era. While the levels are bigger, they just feel empty. And a lot of the platforming just isn't fun. It's just jumping from block to block without really much purpose. The game does have some added mechanics you learn as you progress, but they still don't make up for the oversimplification of platforming this game focuses on. But all these games together form the Toree 3D Platformer Collection, which is a really good collection of games, I have to say. The added bonus with the collection is each game now also has a time attack mode, where you can turn this option on or off from the home screen and try and beat the game in record time. For Toree 3D, Toree 2, and MacBat 64, this is a perfect addition given the short runtime of those games, to go back and try and finish them as quickly as possible. And added for the Nintendo Switch version of the game is controller support for the Nintendo 64 wireless controller, Sadly though, I didn't get to test this feature out as I don't have one of those wireless controllers. But this game is tempting me to try and track one down and get one, because playing these games with that classic controller would feel right at home with the look of these games. I love platforming games, and this collection is the best example of what I love about them. It perfectly pulls in the nostalgia of the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 era of platformers, and it's something I love, with the graphics and models seemingly taken straight from the kinds of games I used to play on those consoles. I know quite a few people that have played these games and recommended them, so I'm glad I finally got a chance to play them, especially since this collection seems to have the best version of these games, with Toree 3D and Toree 2 including the extra levels that were previously sold separately. So for anyone that's been interested in these games, this is the perfect way to grab them. Overall, I give Toree 3D Platformer Collection a 4 out of 5. This collection is getting a permanent spot on my Nintendo Switch. These are the kinds of games I love to play on the go, where they're short and easy to jump into for a little bit while traveling, trying to just get a little bit better timing with them every time you play. Outside of Regina and Mac, which I found to be more frustrating with its precise platforming, and the game's aesthetics just felt unfinished, which I get is kind of the point of what the game's trying to look like, but it still sticks out a little bit too much to me. But MacBat 64 is a great homage to the collectathon platformers I used to play in a smaller size, and the Toree games are some of the best controlled fast-paced platformers I've played in recent memory. I had a blast playing these games, and I can see why so many people recommended them now. And I'm definitely looking to get my hands on the other games from Siactro, who made Toree. But hey, let us know in the comments what you thought of the game. And if you like this review and want to see more, give us a like and click that subscribe button. If you have suggestions for other games you think we should play, let us know as well. Until next time, this has been Brad with the Bickering Nerds.